I'm Robert Dutt for ChannelBuzz.ca, here today with Colin Blair, Vice President of Data Analytics, Cognitive Computing, and IoT Solutions for Avnet Technology Solutions, to catch up on the latest that's going on in those necks of the woods. That's a lot of territory. Thanks for joining us, Colin.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Happy to join you. Hope you're doing well.
Absolutely. Yourself?
Doing great. Thank you.
Excellent. You cover a lot of territory there with your title and your bailiwick and some of the hottest areas perhaps of the market today. Can you just kind of maybe start with a little bit of an overview for what you see as the main issues, the main things going on in your spaces?
Yeah, I'd love to. So, Rob, a couple of months ago, we announced that we were going to set up specialist business units in each one of the regions of the world. So in North America, Latin America, EMEA, and Asia Pacific, Avnet decided to create specializations for all of the third platform opportunities. Yep. And so that is inclusive of analytics and cloud, mobility, security, and enterprise networking. We've got a robust education services business, and then our legacy data center business. So what we did over each geography across the globe is essentially over 500 people have been dedicated to these specialist areas, so that in each one of the regions, in each one of our domain areas, we wake up every day thinking about these high growth areas. And so there's a lot of things happening. It's a privilege and a real exciting time for me personally to be able to lead the North American business for analytics, cognitive computing, and the Internet of Things. And each in their own right is a great opportunity. But the three of them really are fitting together hand in glove and driving a lot of demand and interest in the channel. And we're doing some pretty exciting things around that in North America.
Yeah, I can imagine. Certainly, we saw that. I guess the specialist business units were announced back in the summertime, if I recall correctly.
You got it, June timeframe. That's right.
So we're getting close to 6 months in. Can you talk a little bit about how the market acceptance and how that has evolved since launch?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks. So I think anytime that industry players specialize, there tends to be a warm reception. The days of distribution from volume to value to solutions, now to specialization, is just something that we all have to do in the industry, and the reception has been really strong. So, of course, we go to our existing suppliers and partner with them, those that we've been doing business with for 20, 25, 30 plus years. And they're excited that we're able to bring together that comprehensive ecosystem that we've got from the edge to the enterprise in North America. And what's interesting, Rob, is no longer can one firm be that monolith that can deliver an entire solution from the edge to the enterprise. It doesn't matter if you're IBM or you're a local regional system integrator or reseller. It really takes on average about 10 to 12 partners to be able to deliver an IoT opportunity. Of course, that's inclusive of analytics and the enterprise data center and mobility and edge devices and the services and the IoT platform to go along with that. So our ability to bring together that ecosystem to offer our own intellectual property and our own services capabilities to be able to bring together an end-to-end solution has been very, very well received by our suppliers, by our partners. And then it's also given us a leg up where we've got the specialization now to talk to some of the emerging suppliers that are industry leading, Gartner Magic Quadrant in their particular domain areas. And so we're having a lot of conversations with some of those innovative, specialized kinds of companies and suppliers in those areas so that we can really offer robust solutions for our ecosystem in North America.
All right, great. A while ago, you touched on kind of how your three areas of bailiwick kind of come together often in solutions. Can you maybe give us an example of one case or one kind of scenario where that happens?
Sure. So the legacy business that we've got in this space, of course, would be database tools, and then analytics software. So then in the analytics software, we've got business intelligence, business analytics, advanced analytics. And so today, that tends to reside mostly in healthcare, retail, finance, around analytics that are around master data management or asset management or structured data. But what's happening with the explosion of interconnected and intelligent devices in IoT, both in information technology and in the operations technology world, is it's driving an explosion of data. And I think that's where the real opportunity for us is going to be, and it is what we're seeing. So in the past, you would have seen a lot of demand-driven around, in the marketing world, demand-driven around big data and analytics.
Yeah.
And there was a lot in the open source world that was driving that. There were some new technologies. The consumptions were changing. You had a lot of the hyperscale data center guys that were doing some pretty innovative things. But what's happened in this Internet of Things explosion is that the data is just needs to be managed. So it's structured, it's unstructured, it's in motion. That data has to be not only created but archived, managed, and then of course analyzed in the cloud, on premise, or off premise. And so what we're seeing is a host of different opportunities that are driven. So again, as I mentioned earlier, there's not one opportunity that is just fully comprehensive, where Avnet's leveraging our components capabilities to deliver devices and sensors. By the way, I'd love for your audience to go out and just check out some of the things that we're doing around the starter kits. So if you go to Amazon.com, we've actually got IoT starter kits that are Avnet branded in that marketplace. We recently partnered with Relayer and offering IoT starter kits that are gateway oriented. And so we have gateways that'll be from Cisco, Dell Technologies, with IoT software running on those IoT gateways or those fog directors, with customized sensors and antennas that are use case centric. And that's where we're seeing a lot of the demand. So real early on, Rob, what we saw was an interest in the devices themselves. And so some partners in our ecosystem thought that being able to design, offer, and talk about devices in the IoT world would break them out of IT a little bit so that they could have meaningful conversations around these kinds of solutions and business outcomes, and allow them to talk outside of just the IT director or the CIO and get into some of those line of business opportunities. But quickly what we found is that's a different kind of ecosystem. So in the sensor world, we've got the ability to do that with our electronics marketing partnership in Avnet, or with independent design houses where partners want to be able to create those sensors. We can do some of that. But that really neglected the opportunity that I think is the real opportunity. It's around leveraging that data, analyzing that data, turning it into information, and then being able to turn that information to actionable business insights and business outcomes. And that's what we're able to do in the middle section of this edge to enterprise opportunity. So in one sense, we had devices. In the other side of the equation, we had data center compute capabilities. And what was missing in the middle was that ability to offer on the connectivity side, how to connect the sensor data to the cloud, to the enterprise. And there was one key thing that we actually offer now, Rob, is a consultative engagement. So we kind of talk about it as innovation as a service, where we're able to go to the client with that end partner with the partner and be able to articulate and talk about and socialize the art of the possible.
Right.
And we're able to do that methodology with one of our new suppliers, Relayer, that's called a 5-4-3 Accelerate offering. And so it's 5 days of ideation, and then 4 weeks of prototyping and design, and then 3 months until you get to an IoT solution and business outcome. So pretty good stuff that's going on. And I think that's the real answer to your question, which is where, and I get this a lot, where are the opportunities? Where are they being generated? What are the on-ramps to be able to take advantage of IoT? And we believe that it's all about the data. And so being able to grab that data at its source, at that edge, at that sensor device, transmit that data to the cloud, be able to do asset management of those devices and those sensors, be able to graphically visualize a lot of those sensors and where those are. And it's really fascinating, Rob. The sensors could be anything from street lamps to vehicles, to people's pedestrian cell phones,
Yeah.
to the Internet of dairy cows on farms in New Jersey. It really varies. The use cases are immense, but it all starts with this idea of the possible.
Right. All right. Can you drill down a little bit on how you see the business going in your spaces in cognitive analytics and IoT here in Canada?
Sure. So I think you know that as the business tracks in Avnet, it's similar in the industry, in the market. So yeah, I believe roughly right now the GDP of Canada is about a tenth of what the GDP is in the U.S.
Yeah.
That's kind of how our business tracks.
Okay.
And so the exciting thing about what we're doing, as you know, is that we leverage our go-to-market, our marketing strategies, our tactics, our sales enablement is all North American based. So pretty much everything that we're offering here is available in Canada. And so to be specific on what those items are, outside of the sales enablement that we offer on the Avnet Knowledge Network, we've got services capabilities that exist on my team to be able to do not only assessments, but services consultancy and services delivery in the analytics space. And then we've recently built and augmented some specific capabilities for customers in Canada and in the United States around industry analytics. And so we currently have about 700 man hours of expertise around industry analytics. So analytics in healthcare, analytics in retail, analytics in finance, analytics in insurance. And so you know, and your audience knows, when you sell into those industries, it's very use case centric. So not only the vernacular specific to that industry, but the data sets, the patterns, the frameworks are very unique. And so what we've done is partnered with IBM, specifically in this case, to build out hundreds and hundreds of lab services engagements that they've done, and kind of consolidated those big hitters that align with Avnet's vertical orientation to be able to offer very specific things to our customers in Canada. We've also got the ability to do a lot of the IoT device design and manufacturing, if the Canadian partners are interested in that. Also the IoT engagements around this consulting service that we talked about. And then, to a certain extent as well, again, through our partnership with Relayer in the case of IoT, to be able to actually do some of the implementations with our partners in Canada. And the whole idea, Rob, is to be able to always innovate. And we want our channel to be able to augment their skills, their capabilities, leverage Avnet's services or Avnet's capabilities or the capabilities of the ecosystem to be able to bring together the resources that our Canadian partners need. And that's really soup to nuts. So it applies in IoT, it applies in analytics, and then it's interesting in cognitive computing. That seems like it's future talk, but there's a lot of things that are happening in that space with Watson and IBM Bluemix. I think we'll see a lot from Microsoft and Amazon and Google that'll be more and more commercially viable as well as channel consumable.
Okay. You kind of touched on where you see the opportunity today. What are your thoughts on what you see as the next wave, the next opportunity, and what you guys are looking for, what we can expect sort of from Avnet in this space over the coming months and into the next year?
Sure. So I believe that the opportunities for all of us, Rob, are going to be in data and data analytics and IoT for the next 15 years. So regardless of who you read, if it's IDC and the number is 25 billion interconnected and intelligent devices, or if you follow Cisco and the number is 50 billion, the point I always articulate to people is it's huge. It's a gigantic opportunity. And we're happy to serve in that supply chain of everything, to be able to navigate those suppliers and those solutions and bring together that ecosystem. Likewise, in IoT, you'll read some that say currently it's a $1.5 trillion opportunity. I read something this morning that said in 2025 that it would be 11.5 trillion. Again, it's a big opportunity.
Yeah.
I think there's so much opportunity in this space that the real challenge becomes, where does a partner tend to gravitate to in terms of specialization? So
Right.
we hear that term a lot. You've heard us talking about trusted advisors and trusted advisor status for years with a lot of our solutions path methodologies that we brought to market. And it couldn't be more true now, just given the size and scope of the opportunity that exists for our channel in North America. So again, specialization is probably what's going to be key. The opportunities speak for themselves, and we're all for helping our partners to specialize. So what you're going to see from Avnet for those specializations will not only be that vertical orientation that our partners have come to expect from us,
Yeah.
but we're also going to be providing a lot of more meat to those vertical oriented solutions. So if it's devices, we're going to be introducing devices that have affinities for vertical use cases. We're going to be offering by supplier different kinds of IoT use cases that have a vertical orientation, whether it be healthcare or government or finance or retail. When you get into these areas, Rob, they're very specific opportunities, and they're very specific to that industry. So just to give you an example, so if we're talking smarter buildings as an example, this is something where we could sell cognitive computing solutions, we can sell analytics solutions, we can sell devices and sensors into this. Mm-hmm. But if you don't understand that in the HVAC world, that the protocols that are used in that particular environment are BACnet, then you won't know to be able to design those kinds of vertical orientated solutions into the offerings. And that's a lot of what we're going to be doing. On top of that, we're currently offering a roadshow in North America. So we're on the last leg of our roadshow this week, as a matter of fact. And we'll be continuing that in calendar 2017. But we're educating our partners on that IoT opportunity. And then we've got sales and technical tracks that are very reminiscent, Rob, of the universities that we've done in our vertical markets for the last 7 or 8 years.
All right. Brilliant. Thanks for taking the time to walk us through some of the things that are going on in the IoT cognitive and analytics world. Appreciate it, Colin. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Rob.